Welcome to welcome to another week of modern workforce training from hustle to hired with Talent Nova. We're really excited that you decided to join us, whether you are live or watching the replay. We just really have enjoyed these past few weeks of spending time with you to talk to you more about the skills that you need to kind of position yourself to win. This week's lesson is about skills that stick. We're calling it the streets, which is an acronym for standard training required in education and experience to succeed. The streets framework is going to give you a clear path from where you are to where you're going. We're going to provide some tools you'll actually be able to use at work, in life, and on the job, and in any professional setting, which is something we've prided ourselves on in these past couple of weeks, not just trying to help you understand and learn for skills that you can use in the workplace, but that you can use in real life. Next slide. Here's what we're going to be unpacking today. Street skills are the foundation. You'll understand how life skills really fuel growth, and how social skills can unlock relationships, and how business skills can shape these decisions, and how real proficiency helps you stand out. It's about more than just getting the job, right? It's about building who you are in that job and beyond. Next slide. So we've talked about this for the past couple of weeks, life skills, right? Life skills are essential for growth. And so when we think about this, they are at the core of who we are, right? Adaptability is going to help you navigate the unexpected. Communication is going to build that bridge in any environment. We talked about being bilingual a couple of weeks back. And problem solving, that's how you show up when things don't go as planned. And all of these skills are your personal power, and we're here to actually help you strengthen them. Next slide. So when we think about those life skills, what are some of those things that we have, that we use, that we do, that we don't often put on our resume? So self-awareness, right, is not a word that you would see on a resume. Like who puts it together, and then in the skill area, right? I am self-aware. But before we lead others, we have to lead ourselves. And so it's a powerful skill to possess. Self-awareness is really about knowing your strengths and your limits, building confidence, and growing from the feedback that you receive if you're willing to accept that feedback. This is really how you turn experiences into insights, and those insights that you learn, heard, and experience into action. This is a personal development framework that can actually stick. If you begin to understand not just what you do, but who you are, it'll shape what you know you can do next. Next slide. So when we look at achieving common goals in teamwork and trust, we look at the two differentiators. If you want to achieve goals, it happens by working together. It drives productivity forward. Teamwork and trust is important. It's the importance of collaboration. We understand that in the workplace, that is vital. You heard me say early on that teamwork makes the dream work. Reaching goals isn't a solo mission. It takes trust, it's going to take teamwork, and it's going to also take collaboration. Sharing responsibilities also builds teams stronger. And so this trust that we're talking about is going to help build stronger outcomes. And so you don't just have to show up by yourself. You learn how to show up for others too, and show up alongside others as well. And so when you achieve common goals and you build this teamwork and trust factor, you position yourself in the workplace, not just to be an individual achiever, but also to be a group achiever. Next slide. Positive impact, responsibility, and reliability. What does that mean? In any role, your impact matters. That means taking ownership, meeting deadlines, and being someone people can count on. But it also means creating space where others can thrive. That's leadership. You don't need a title to do that. You can show up in any role with any responsibility and be positive and make impact, and follow through with your responsibilities, which is often connected to your role. A lot of times we believe that we can't do certain things because of the position or because of the title that we've been labeled. But again, the world of work is a space where you can thrive no matter what level you're in, and there's no title required for that. Next slide. Another skill that's required in the standard training and education experience to succeed that we're calling the streets is time and task management. I really want to say tis, 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 right? I had a mentor growing up say that if you come in on time, you're late, right? You need to get there 10, 15, 20 minutes early. And you don't have to go through the extreme, but time management isn't just about getting things done. It's really about managing your energy, your focus, and your peace. It's about setting goals, being okay with using these digital tools that we have accessible to us, AI included, and balancing your workload. This isn't just about that professional skill. This is a life skill that you can use, just showing up, being present, and doing what you say you're going to do. And going back to that last slide is also injecting positivity. When we look at these four prongs, setting clear goals to stay focused and motivated is going to help you achieve these small wins. And as you achieve these small wins, it'll give you the encouragement that you need and the experience that you need to take another step to achieve a win again. And then balancing work and personal life for overall well-being. Have you ever heard a manager or a boss say, when you come to work, leave what you're experiencing at the door? And sometimes that's hard, for individual people. And that's why emotional intelligence is really important. But finding that balance between what you do and where you do it is going to be important for time and task management. Understanding how to prioritize what's essential at the moment, and then building a pipeline of touch points so that you can achieve goals and reach the success that you want to. Next slide. It's emotional, social skills. Okay, I skipped one. I was skipping one on my own. So these social skills, when you build connections, when we think back to the past couple of weeks, we really talked about how we need to leverage what we know, not just our learned experience, but our lived experience. We talked about, building community. We talked about having people as resources, and social skills is incredibly important. How do we build connections in the workplace? And so we talked about even growing in our career pathways. It requires you to network, right? It's essential for creating these professional relationships and opportunities. So you can build a strong network, or you can join one in places like LinkedIn. A lot of you have profiles on Talent Nova, so you're already in our ecosystem, but looking for ways to collaborate that can enhance your career path will be really instrumental for you. When we think another part of social skills is this empathy that you have to have. It's going to allow others to understand others' feelings and perspectives. Now, why do those things connect? Why networking? Why empathy? And why active listening? Because when you connect with people, you have to be able to communicate with people and listen to people and understand from their perspective. And it's just the way the world of work works. When you practice empathy, it's going to help you connect with others. That's also going to improve your teamwork dynamics and create a more inclusive environment. And when we think about listening, this is going to help foster clear communication and strengthen those interpersonal skills. And not just listening to respond, but listening so that you are digesting what the individual is saying, you're processing it, and you're replying, not because you may be right and they may be wrong, but because you have feedback that you want to share that's clear, right? That's consistent, right? And that is going to help benefit the community. Active listening is crucial for effective communication. Showing respect and validating others' thoughts and feelings matter. And so when someone says something in the room, I mean, even repeating what they said and saying, it sounds like what I hear you saying is that this project is important to you and that it's top of mind. So some of the things we can do is, and then you can add your input from there. But when you think about the social skills that you develop for the world of work, it's going to help you build connections. It's going to help you understand those connections. It's going to help you communicate with those connections. And those are all things that are essential. Next slide. Entrepreneurial thinking. I don't know how many of you have access to the chat, but if you ever heard of entrepreneurial thinking, just say me in the chat, or you can raise your hand or give me an emoji, right? And so entrepreneurial thinking is what we think about when we talk about business owners. Entrepreneurial thinking is that business owner mindset that we use when we're building internally. This is this innovation that drives business success and growth. So coming up with a new idea, coming up with a program, a process, or a framework that you can use and apply to help benefit the company or streamline some of their processes. And then we go over to adapting to change builds resilience and challenges. And so adaptability is something that a lot of entrepreneurs have to possess, because you have to be able to pivot when there's a problem, and we have to be able to do the same thing in the world of work. And then creative problem solving. What can I come up with? It's kind of like those scenarios that we guys took you through last week and the week before that, where we asked you to tell us how you would respond to a situation or a circumstance. Those creative problem solving techniques that you have is going to help enable your decision making at work. And then it's going to also help you take initiative. And that fosters leadership and innovation. And that positions you in a place where you can succeed. You can set yourself up for promotion, and you can set yourself up for a solution. A couple of weeks back, we talked about not just being someone that's filling a seat, but somebody that's also solving a problem. And so seeing yourself as a solution by having this entrepreneurial thinking. I'm taking ownership of the role and the responsibility that I have, and I'm going to ensure that the organization has what it needs so that it can succeed. And in short, what that's going to mean is that you're creating value wherever you are, whether you're launching your own hustle, which some of you may, or leveling up inside of a company. This mindset is going to help you solve problems. It's going to help you take initiative. And it's also going to help you lead from within. Next slide. Emotional intelligence. And so we've talked about this week after week, like really recognizing and understanding your emotions is vital, knowing your triggers, having your talk points and your techniques to help you process and navigate through challenges in your personal life and in the world of work. Going back to that development of empathy to enhance team collaboration. And then what it's going to do is going to help you in managing your interaction with people in a really thoughtful and intentional way. Then it's going to help you boost those communication skills so you can force the connection. Emotional intelligence is really top of the line for a lot of organizations when they're looking to hire people. Those are some of the things that they're going to ask, especially if you're in a high stressful environment where you have to meet goals, where there may be challenges that you have to face. And knowing and understand that a lot of organizations want to make sure and they want to know that you have the right mindset, not just the right skill set and the right hard set to navigate in the role and to do the job. Next slide. Moving from emotional intelligence, you have to really be able to speak and show up. Having emotional intelligence is tied to it. Entrepreneurial thinking is also tied to it, as is communication. Again, when you are an effective communicator, you can show up strong and you can also be willing to speak up, but speak up in a way that's not demeaning to someone because you understand the power of language. It's going to help you engage your audience and enhance the overall experience as a whole because you're using what we like to call here at Talent Nova people first language or asset based language. It's going to help you present more confidently to capture your audience attention, right? You know what they want to hear and you give it to them clear and concise. It's also going to help you practice active listening to foster better understanding. Again, not just listening with your ear, but paying attention to their body language and what they're not saying. If you remember and you recall when we talked about communication that week, we talked about being bilingual, speaking English and also speaking body language, looking at a person's posture and whether their hands are folded, whether their head is down, whether they're twiddling, right? And not defining it, but understanding that they are communicating something to you in the process. And so when you are thinking about the standard training required in education and experience to succeed, entrepreneurial thinking, emotional intelligence, and knowing how to speak up and show up is going to help you position yourself to win because it leads to these 4 key aspects of effective leadership. Next slide. It tells me if you can do these things that you have vision, right? You can create a strong vision that's going to provide direction and clarity, right? This is effective leadership. It's going to align a team towards a common goal, and it's going to inspire someone to work collaboratively and embrace innovation. It's going to show that you have resilience. That's that emotional intelligence swing. It's going to help us and help leaders in the organization know that you can navigate obstacles and setbacks, right? Leaders that can adapt to challenges, inspire their teams really to remain focused and committed, right? We need you to pivot when there's a problem. And then it's going to also help us see that you have empathy. And when you have empathy, you can foster a supportive environment, even when there's a deadline that you have to that has to be reached. And finally, integrity. Integrity is going to make sure that You build trust and credibility within the team. Leaders who demonstrate this ethical behavior and transparency can create a positive workplace culture. So I want you to ask yourself, do I possess these 4 key aspects of effective leadership? If you do, say yes. Or is there something that you have to work on? And if there's something that you have to work on, is it vision? Is it resilience? Is it empathy or integrity? Drop that in the comment area so that we can see. What key aspect of effective leadership do you possess, or do you have all 4? Or is there something that you believe that you need to work on? Next slide. When we think about being leaders, there's some things that you have to master, right? You have to first master your business skills for strategic thinking. What's this? Strategic thinking is being innovative, right? It's being entrepreneurial, it's being able to lead the project. And it's for me to understand not just the people and purpose, but also that profit is attached to the overall project. And so you're strategically thinking about the whole situation. So when you show up at work, and whether you are on the front line, and I'm just going to call out some titles, doing maintenance work, if you're on the front line in hospitality, if you're in the department doing marketing and customer service or admin work, or you're working in tech, or you're hands-on in the construction field, when you are thinking business minded, you have the strategy in mind. You understand that you have to lead a project, but you know that every moment that you're on site and everything that you do is tied to both an overall company goal and a financial goal. This strategic thinking is going to be vital for making informed decisions and fostering long-term growth in business environments. And so when you can show up in the workforce as a modern employee and help the company understand and see that not only are you good at what you do, but I understand the full process and the implications of what I do, it's going to help position you in a way where they're going to see you differently. And I think that that's incredibly important for a lot of reasons. One, because they won't just see you as someone that's there for the role, but they'll see you as someone that can be prepared for a future higher role, because you are thinking strategically, you're thinking critically, and you have this mindset of interacting with your team empathetically. Next slide. When you can master your business skills and you can understand your proficiency in skills development, like right now, as we talk about the streets, it's going to position you in a place to understand what it truly means to master and apply your skills effectively. Going back to our lived and learned experience, what can you do that you have not put on your resume that would be beneficial to an organization? I'm going to give everybody about 60 seconds to put something in the chat. What can you do that you don't put on your resume that you believe will be beneficial to an organization? 60 seconds. And drop that in the chat. So while you guys are dropping those in the chat, if there's something that's not on your resume that could be beneficial in the workplace, the goal of these past couple of weeks is that you would be able to identify those things, and that you would not just identify them, but you would begin to master them more effectively and use them in real world scenarios. I mean, and what this does is it ensures that you can adapt and thrive in various environments, demonstrating your value. I know that I can critically think and analytically think because of some of the situations I've been in. And that proficiency is not always expressed on my resume, but I have the ability to do it. And so when I'm able to master the skills that I have, I'm able to master some of the things that I encounter in the workplace. Next slide. Now, when you've mastered your skills, you have to be able to influence others as in leadership. I have a good friend that always says that influence will trump authority. And so when you can influence somebody positively, they'll follow you. You don't have to have a title. And what that means is that they see you as someone that has vision, the ability to create a compelling future, even in the role that you're in, somebody with integrity that's built trust, and somebody that motivates them and inspires others to take action and achieve goals. This is how you influence others. No matter what role you're in and what position you're in, when they interact with you, they see you have vision, they see you have integrity, and they see that what you do is tied to motivating them to move forward and achieve their goals. But what are some of the qualities for effective teams? Next slide. Effective leadership is essential for fostering collaboration and innovation within the team. A great leader is going to inspire their team by demonstrating those qualities we talked about: empathy, communication, and adaptability. But by encouraging open dialogue and varying each other's input, leaders can cultivate a diverse and motivated workplace. What does that mean? Ask questions, listen well, and use that feedback kind of to share or to shift and change things to lead to a place in a posture of success. A lot of times leaders aren't listening to their team. And when you're able to listen to your team and you have this empathy, you know how to communicate and you're willing to be adaptable, it creates this creativity. It enhances problem solving abilities. It leads you to this place where your team can work together collectively and more effectively. And these are how teams succeed. It starts with great communication and being empathetic to what others may be experiencing and going through. I know in many of the teams that I get to work with, one of the things I identify is our willingness to adapt, right? To do what's best for the team, not just what's best for me. Next slide. Let me give you these 5 essentials and business skills for the modern workplace that I want you to take with you when it comes to the streets that we discussed in the past couple of slides. Number 1, effective networking is going to build strong relationships, right? You don't have to be solo. You can partner with people and you can connect with organizations and communities, or you can connect with other professionals on platforms like LinkedIn, right? Or groups that you may have encountered. But effective networking is going to help you build strong relationships. Number 2, creative problem solving is going to help you overcome challenges swiftly. You don't have to do what everybody else has done. You can do what works best for you. Number 3, critical thinking is going to ensure informed decision making. You don't have to be one-sided. You can be multifaceted. And when you are multifaceted, you're thinking outside the box and from a lens of your lived and learned experience. Number 4, skill negotiations achieve win-win outcomes. That means I don't have to always be right, but if we can come together and co-develop, right, something, then it's a win for them and it's a win for me and it's a win for the team. And number 5, innovation is going to drive growth and adaptability. Anytime you can create and shape from a place that's going to benefit the organization, it's going to drive growth and it's going to drive adaptability. Now, they don't have to use all of your ideas, but your idea can be used when the moment is absolutely right. And so don't stop creating because you don't see anything that you've shaped be put in place. Just wait for it, and at the right time, right? It will potentially be used. I have plenty of tools that I've created that I had in my back pocket, and at the right time I had to pull them out, but I already had them in my back pocket. Next slide. So how do employers measure the proficiency when it comes to the streets? They do performance reviews. We know that's standard, right? They use skills assessments to gauge specific abilities related to the job requirements. And they get feedback from peers, which provides insight. They ask questions. And so this is how they measure proficiency. If there's another way that you know that proficiency is measured, I'd love for you to share that in the room. If anybody has experienced something other than feedback, performance reviews, or skills assessment, I'd love for you to put that in the chat. Next slide. And so when we think about the streets, entrepreneurial thinking, communication, emotional intelligence, picking up on our skills, becoming adaptive, creative problem solving, all these things, right? All the standard training I need in education and experience to succeed, understanding me and understanding what I need for the moment. How can I reflect on my growth this week? Like, what applications have I experienced in the past couple of weeks that I have learned and been able to apply in real situations? Is there anyone here that's been here for the past couple of weeks or more than one training that can share in the chat maybe something that you learned that you've been able to apply in a real life situation? Have you identified a challenge that you faced during the week that you were able to use something that you heard or experienced and apply to it? And have you been able to identify the importance of continuous self-assessment and improvement? Really looking at yourself and seeing what your needs are and areas that you can improve and you can succeed. I remember when I recalled that I had to learn how to communicate more effectively. And in learning how to communicate more effectively, I learned that I had to adapt in specific environments. And it's okay when you have to do that. You're not changing who you are. You are authentically adapting. I'm staying true to who I am, but I'm adapting to the environment that I'm in because I absolutely respect it. And so when we think about this past week, and when we think about some of what we learned in the past weeks, let's think about the applications that we can apply, the challenges that we can face, that we have frameworks for, and the importance of constantly looking at myself so I find ways to improve. Next slide. Last week, we talked about brand camp. And so I want to encourage those of you on the call to practice, right? Digital practice, right? Engage with online resources to enhance your learning. We talked about Coursera. We talked about Google. We talked about LinkedIn. And of course, we talked about Talent Nova, who's offering this free modern workforce training from hustle to hired for the past couple weeks that ends next week. But tell someone about it because we will offer it again. Collaborate with peers to share your insights and skills. Tell somebody about this. Run, tell that. I think that was a song someplace, right? How can you work together with your peers to exchange ideas and develop solutions effectively? Can you sit down, have coffee with someone, and maybe come together to help creatively problem solve? And then apply week 6 skills in practical scenarios. How can you take what you learned this week? As we talked about, and let me go all the way back, even those 4 areas of learning: vision, integrity, emotional intelligence, self-awareness, how to achieve common goals, how to build teamwork and trust, that responsibility and reliability, that time and task management, really understand how to prioritize my goals, how to set clear goals so I can succeed, my social skills, how do I network that will increase my net worth? How do I show up with empathy to ensure I understand others? And how can I listen different? And so what are some of those skills that I have learned that I can apply and that I can use in practical scenarios at work? Again, I know we don't use the chat often in this session, but is there something that you learned in the past couple of weeks, if you're here, that you can share that you used in a scenario? Or was there a scenario that you responded to that helped you reflect back and showed you a way that you can do things that's different? Next slide. So next slide. So what's your weekly challenge? We want you to implement a new skill you've learned this week, whether it's self-awareness, I'm gonna pay attention to me, whether it's mastering a business skill, whether it's you practicing your entrepreneurial thinking at the place that you work, whether it's your emotional intelligence, implement a new skill and tell us about it. Just choose one skill to apply in real life situation to enhance your proficiency. Number 2, we want you to expand your network with relevant connections. Go on LinkedIn, reach out to individuals in your industry to really broaden your connections and gain insights. I dare you to email a Talent Nova coach and say that you've been going through the training and that you have questions about something that you learned, heard, and experienced. But number 3, lead a discussion to practice leadership, like facilitate a discussion among your peers around a topic you may have heard to develop your leadership abilities and encourage collaboration. And this doesn't even have to be done at work. This can be done around peers, but don't be afraid to show up in rooms and lead conversations that may be relevant and real. That can help you cultivate who you are and help the people that you are interacting with get information that they may need. Next slide. So what are we doing this week? We really are focused on helping you set clear goals and effective planning strategies to enhance your personal and professional development for the upcoming week. Why is that important? Because week 8, as I'll share in the last slide, is kind of where we bring closure. And we want to make sure that you are setting SMART goals that are specific and measurable, achievable within a set time frame, and relevant to your personal growth. I know we have some worksheets that you'll be able to use and apply on your own, but what are the goals that you want to set yourself? And how can you plan ahead? How can you outline necessary steps for success? How can you prioritize tasks and allocate time to yourself to build the pathway that you want for your career? And how can you adjust the plans based on progress on where you are and where you want to go? Next slide. And then we want you to tell us, right? We want to hear from you. Tell us how it's going. Email us at info@talentnova.com. We would love to hear from you. Both my Talent Nova team members that's already on the call that shows up here every week with me. And I would also love to hear from you. What did you learn? What street skills are you strongest in? What skill will you focus on building in the next 7 days? Or what have you heard in these past couple of weeks that's been beneficial for you? And if you're here and you want to put that in the chat, we welcome you to put that in your chat, in the chat if you want to. But we're really interested in understanding how you are applying what we've been able to release these past couple of weeks and how you've been able to use it and apply it to the job that you're in or the job that you're seeking. Next slide. As always, I enjoy coming to you guys and talking to you guys about this work, this modern workforce training. One of the things about From Hustle to Hire that has taught me is that there are even some skills that I have to build upon, that I have to further cultivate, that I have to enhance. And today, specifically, we walk through what it really means to succeed in today's workforce. And it's more than just a resume and even more than just a title. It's about life skills that can stick, skills that's going to ground you when things shift, skills that help you show up with confidence, clarity, and consistency, no matter what the environment is. The Streets framework isn't just about professional readiness. It's really about a personal revolution. We've talked about adaptability, communication, emotional intelligence, problem solving, leadership, and owning your growth from the inside out. And these are not just standard workplace expectations, they're also life expectations. And when you step into them, you raise your standard and you can expand what's possible. So whether you're stepping into your first job, stepping into your next job, whether you're starting fresh after a setback, or you're just re-entering, or you're striving towards the next big move, what you learned here is going to travel with you wherever you go. It becomes part of your rhythm. It's going to become part of how you respond, how you lead, and also how you win. So we hope that you just didn't take notes, but that you decide to take action, to use your voice, own your story, and keep building one step, one skill, and one bold decision at a time. Because from here forward, you don't just walk the streets, you own the streets. You own the standard training required in education and experience to succeed. I'm KO. Always a pleasure to speak to you. I hope you guys have an incredible rest of your week. We'll see you next time. Bye.